Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. It is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there on another beautiful day outside, and hopefully the Mariners can help everybody have an even more beautiful day with a win. That would be really, really appreciated. We're going to turn you over to the pregame show coming up at 2:30. Bryce Miller getting back into the rotation. He's activated from the IL. He gets the start this afternoon. And, Dave, I'm just wondering if anybody in this division would actually like to win the division. You know, it's just it's amazing. The Astros go out there and just get pummeled yesterday, 10-0. They've been shut out in back-to-back games. They cannot score a run, and yet the Mariners are right there. The last 10 games for these teams, Astros and M's and Angels, are all 5-5 in the last 10. The Rangers are 2-8. Nobody wants it.
Well, and that's what sucks about it for the Mariners, just because you look at the Astros also lost the series to Baltimore, and another one of those games that they lost, 7-0. They didn't score a dang run. They haven't, and they had to go extra innings to get the one win they did in the middle game of that series. In extra innings, 12 innings, they win 5-4, but they got blanked. They got blanked last night against Detroit. So, yeah, all of a sudden there's a power outage in Houston, and the Seahawks, Mariners are not taking advantage of it.
No, it's brutal. It's brutal, and now they're in a three-way tie. The wild card race right now is a three-way tie between the Mariners, Yankees, and Red Sox. When the Guardians are hovering, they're 3 games back, just waiting for everybody else to fall. But it's amazing. The Mariners were at one point last week tied for first, and then they were the number 1 wild card, and now it keeps trickling down. So I guess the bright spot is that the other teams are losing, so they're not losing much ground, but it's right there. The door is open. Walk through it. And what's weird is we're used to the offense being pretty hot and cold, and it still is that way even with the new additions. We've seen that. But this rotation, which really felt like it was starting to find its rhythm and starting to find its way, and you're going to have your starting 5 all together right here for the first time, I believe, this season.
That's right.
The original starting 5 from last year with Bryce Miller getting back in the rotation tonight. Yet you've had 3 just disastrous outings on this road trip. It started with Castillo, terrible. Kirby, terrible. Gilbert last night, beyond terrible. I mean, it was just awful. And I started looking at their splits, and it is amazing who these guys are at home versus who they are on the road. You look at Brian Wu. At home, he's got a 2.39 ERA. On the road, not bad, but he's a run higher, 3.48. Castillo at home, 2.41, really good. On the road, 4.92. And then these other ones have been blown up a bit based on recent starts, and that includes Castillo. Gilbert's got a 2.22 ERA at T-Mobile Park. On the road, 6.
Yeah.
And you look at Kirby at home, 3.38. On the road, 5.08. And then Miller, I know it's been abbreviated. He's had a rough time of it in both. He's got a 5.11 ERA at home, 6.38 on the road. Logan Evans even, 3.32 at T-Mobile. On the road, 5.36. The only outlier is Emerson Hancock, who hasn't been up for a bit, but he was actually better on the road. At home, he had a 6.06 ERA. On the road, 4.97. So he's the outlier. But everybody else, you see in some cases, dramatic. I mean, Logan Gilbert is just a different person on the road versus at home.
Yeah, and, really the biggest gap, I was looking at those same numbers from last year, from 2024, and the biggest gap is Bryce Miller. He had a 1.96 ERA and then 4.07 on the road last year. But that was the biggest gap, because if you look at 2024, it's, basically goes from 2.5 to, 3.5 or so. Castillo, 3.15 at home last year, and then 4.25 on the road. And really the same thing for their careers. It's just slightly, which is expected, right? But, I guess, I mean, you're going to, it's a a pitcher's ballpark. So, obviously at home, but I don't know. I always felt like when you go on the road, you have to have like a little bit extra, and maybe a little bit more intensity or whatever. And I don't know. You look at Logan Gilbert. I mean, I don't think he could be any more intense, right? But I mean, I do think it sharpens you. And I would think on the road that, that would be, I don't know, you're not familiar with the ballpark or whatever, but still, it just seems like, you would kind of steel yourself a little bit more on the road because you're up against it. But that's pretty much how their careers have gone. But man, not this exaggerated in the numbers that you just rattled off there, because even if you look at just last year, like for Kirby, 306 at home, 389 on the road. So not a big glaring difference.
Yeah, and you hit the most obvious part of it is they're playing 81 games in a pitcher's park, right? Especially early in the season, they're racking up, some of these numbers early when the ball doesn't carry, and it favors them pitching in T-Mobile. That's been well established. And then you're on the road, you're playing in different parks every couple of nights, and some of those are hitters' parks, and some of those fly balls that die on the warning track at T-Mobile are leaving the yard on the road. So it makes sense. You're going to be in a hitter's park here, and then we're going over here, and this is a pitcher's park, then we're going here, and that's a hitter's park, it's a bandbox. So you expect the road numbers to vary much more, but it's pretty extreme in what we've seen, especially when we're looking at Gilbert and Kirby, and to a little bit lesser extent Castillo. I mean, it's just to have over a 2-run difference for Castillo, you got over a 3-run difference for Kirby, and a 2-run difference just about for 3-run difference for Gilbert, almost 4. It's almost a 4, and yesterday blew that up, so it skews it a bit. But it's just the point being, they've got to find a way, because if they get into the playoffs and they happen to be the road team, you better find a way to acclimate on the road. You're going to need to win these games on the road. You're going to need to be better, and again, the slight difference makes sense. 81 games at T-Mobile, but man, this year it just seems very extreme. And it's, yesterday was tough, man. That was tough to watch. It was just, It was wildly disappointing. I don't think anybody's surprised that they ended up losing a game, but to see Gilbert, who's your opening day starter, go out there and he can't even give you 3 innings. I mean, it's just, you just kill your bullpen. You just kill your bullpen. And, hopefully, I don't know what the plan is for Miller pitch-wise tonight, but you got to hope he's efficient, and that's a lot to put on a guy who's making his first start coming off the injured list.
Yeah, against this team who, came up with 12 runs last night. I mean, Trey Turner was just ridiculous. So
Bryce Harper, first game he hit 440, the other 450. I mean, he just launched those things, man.
Yeah, and just so disappointing because you take the 9 out of 10 in the homestand, and then now you've lost 5 of the last 6. You got the one win on the road against Baltimore. You won 1-0, and then, show some signs of life with that 11-9 win over the Mets. But then, everything has just gone. Well, they got 11 runs in the last 3 games, but it's just not been enough. So I'm really excited to see Bryce Miller tonight. I think that'll be, don't want to put too much pressure on him. It's his first outing, but, he was so good last year, and hopefully he can recapture that and kind of hit the ground running, because that's kind of what he needs to do. It's not like he has a bunch of time here to ramp up, with the season coming into an end here.
And we'll get to the Seahawks here in a second, but I'm wondering, and people can text in at 866-979-3776. We're seeing a matchup against a Mets team that was really struggling going into that series. Mets win that series. We'll see how this one plays out, but the Phillies got off to a pretty ugly start, and we've seen different struggles throughout the season. But do you think that sort of crystallized what we've been hearing all season, that the National League is just a decidedly better league this year? The AL is down across the board. There is not that dominant team. You got good teams, but they're all kind of bunched together. Nobody really stands out. It's a down. We just talked about this division. Nobody seems to want to win the division. So are we seeing that disparity there, or is that an overreaction? What do you think?
No, I think it's definitely the case. I mean, we've been saying it pretty much all year that the AL is pretty much up for grabs, right? And you can't really say that about the National League with, some of these. You look at the Phillies and the Brewers and the Cubs and Dodgers and Padres. I mean, yeah. Whereas you look at the other side of it, and I mean, maybe the best team is Houston there if they're entirely healthy, but. They don't seem to want to step up and grab that like they should. So I'm sure there's lots of complaining in Houston, which is a beautiful thing.
Complaining in Texas. They've dropped 8 of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the hottest team in the division is the A's. They've won 6 of 10, but they're in dead last, out by double digits. So it's just it's weird to watch what's going on, and we are quickly approaching the end of the season, and I'm just waiting for the Mariners to step up and grab it. They've got all the tools. They've got their full complement of pitchers now as we sit. You got your starting 5. Hopefully Miller can I don't want to put I don't expect him to go 8 innings, 7 innings tonight. That would be wonderful, but I don't, we'll see what kind of pitch limits they've got on him, but yeah, they really need him to just give him a chance to win. If he can give him 5 and 3 runs or less, I'll take it. If he gives you 5 and 3, that's a success to me. That's giving you a chance to win. It's not asking a ton from you. Not asking them to lock them down, shut them out for 7 innings, but just give them a chance to win. Meanwhile, the Seahawks regular season is approaching, and we want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the season opener. That's happening September 7th against the 49ers, and all you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab to find out how. Now, if you don't already have the app, you've heard this before, just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We're going to send you a link to download it. It's completely free. You can enter every day to increase your chances to win. The contest runs through Monday, August 25th. So if you want to get out there to that home opener against the hated 49ers, here's a chance to get free tickets. Meanwhile, we haven't seen in the preseason, we were raving about the rushing attack, Dave. And what's interesting about that is it's been so good. It gives you a reason to be optimistic, as we talked about. But we haven't seen Ken Walker out there. Yeah. He hasn't been a part of it. And, we saw him in practice. You and I were raving about it very early. And, boy, I've seen him standing on the sidelines. But is this a situation where maybe a guy does lose his starting job to injury, that Zach Charbonnet's shown enough to say, you know what, we're more comfortable with him being, running back number 1 to open the season?
Yeah, to me, yes, absolutely. I love Charbonnet in this offense, and you look at the numbers, and I don't want to say it's just you can plug anybody in there, because K9 is very special. But if you ask me who is the most special running back in this group, it's Zach Charbonnet. I mean, he can run the post and pull. He can run any kind of offense that you want to run, and then. Like I said, as a linebacker, this is a guy that can run you over, or he can put a move on you. So I think Charbonnet is, and then you look at the numbers of the rest of, and look, I know this is a preseason game, but it's like, you had Charbonnet had 45, Jacardia Wright had 48, Holani had 49. And then Martinez had 50. So, I mean, it does look like plug and play there. But to me, the guy that most fits, and maybe it's not fair for K9, but I just think Charbonnet is going to have, if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to have a really good year in this offense.
By the way, you brought this up before, and we talked about, the training camp preseason superstars of the past, the Troy Maine Popes, the Kason Williams, those people we looked at and said, man, they've done it all. Man, this guy's looked electric. He's earned a spot, and then we're all surprised when they don't make it. I wouldn't be surprised if Jacardia Wright was that guy this year. Yeah. Because he's looked good. He's made plays, but you only have so many spots for running backs.
No, you're right.
Is he the odd man out? Because he's certainly flashed. He's given you reason to go, whoa, this kid's got some stuff. But I don't know. Is he going to be that guy this year, or do you think there's somebody who's I don't know, even more of a, you look at him and go, man, this guy, what a preseason he's had, and he's a likely candidate to be the surprise cut.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought you were going to say Holani.
No, I can't see them getting rid of him, but
Yeah.
maybe they would. I don't
know.
I think Wright would go before Holani.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the number of tight ends that they're keeping, maybe somebody is the odd man out there. And I think, if Damian Martinez can play a lot of special teams, that will really help him make the team. So, yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see, because that's really just, one position, right? Because you have a lot of fullback, you got a lot of tight end, and so as far as tailbacks go, yeah, what are you going to need? 3, probably?
Yeah.
So,
hey, real quick before we I want to play this cut from Daniel Jeremiah talking about Charbonnet, but just in talking about, well, is he going to be the starter? I get what that means, and there's some prestige to being the starter, being running back number 1. But in the end, is it more of a dual thing? Are we going to see an even split in carries between those two guys, between Walker, assuming he's healthy, and Charbonnet? And in the end, there isn't really your main guy, or do you see a disparity where, all right, Charbonnet is going to be the workhorse, and Walker's, if Charbonnet gets, 18 carries, Walker's going to get 10 or something like that? Or do you see it more even throughout the season?
Yeah, I think that Charbonnet is going to eventually emerge as the bell cow, basically. So, but maybe that's not fair to K9 because he hasn't practiced much, and he did look really good early on in some of the OTAs. But yeah, the other thing you could say is that, remember the year with the 49ers running the same system where they had like 3 different running backs that had 500 yards? I think one of them was Raheem Mostert. So, yeah, it could end up looking more like that, but I don't know. From what we've seen and what I've seen at practice and just the way he's built, Charbonnet, I feel like is perfect for this offense.
Well, Daniel Jeremiah was on with Brock and Salk, and he was explaining why he likes Charbonnet over Walker in this offense.
Because there's going to be creases that are created, and they're not going to be created the same on. You can call the same run play 5 times, and the crease might be different every single time. So hesitation and pause, that's not a friend in this system. You got to be able to see it, sort it, and go. And I just think Charbonnet sees things faster. He gets to and through the hole quicker. So look, if you're going to run crack toss and it's just we're running outside, Kenneth Walker can do that all day long. But in terms of being able to sift and sort inside and find the crease, I just think Charbonnet's a little more comfortable with that at this point in time.
Totally
and that's
agree.
something, Dave, you've brought up before, that K9 may kind of tippy-toe around back there a bit before he makes that decision to put that foot in the ground and go, whereas Charbonnet just kind of hits the pile. Like he's got his direction planned out before that ball's in his gut.
Yeah, and I think he's also got a lot more power, but explosion, and really, like Daniel says there, I think it's the decision making that kind of sets him apart. But I love his body type. I love that he will run you over, and he's just got a little bit of an edge and a little bit of nastiness to him, and he's light on words every once in a while.
Yeah.
No, I love Charbonnet. Every once in a while, I'll say something to him, and he'll go, "Yeah, okay." So
light on words.
Yeah.
Brevity is key for him.
That's right. But love him.
Yeah. One more quickly before we get to take 2. We've obviously everybody's focused on the O-line, and the obvious positions that are up for grabs: center, right guard. The other 3, assuming health, who your starters are. And head coach Mike McDonald on Sunday was specifically asked about Anthony Bradford and whether they've decided on starters at right guard and center right now.
I think when you watch the tape, you felt the physicality, and then I thought he finished plays the best that he has on tape up to this point was this game. So let's keep stacking those performances. Let's stay relentless on a play-in, play-out basis, and he can play some really, really great football if he does that.
Have you guys made your decisions on center and right guard yet?
I don't know. Maybe not.
There's a line from Step Brothers once again where he's like, I don't know.
Maybe not.
What are you doing
I think
there?
they have. Maybe at center. I don't know if they've decided who their starter is, but Bradford's your starter at right guard. I'm going to go out on a crazy limb and say Anthony Bradford is going to be your starting right guard.
Well, the best thing that he said there is that he's finishing, and that was the problem last year. I remember asking the coaches, like, who's the beast? Who's the go-to guy? Who's the guy that wins a fight? It's Bradford, and I would say it's Bradford, but he doesn't finish. And now he is. And he looked really good the other night.
Really good. Yeah. All right. We'll obviously talk more about that in the days to come. Right now, let's take two.
So Victor Robles has been suspended 10 games, and it turns out it's a pretty punitive punishment for the Mariners. So Ryan Divish confirmed with an MLB source that when Victor Robles serves a suspension, the Mariners will have to be a man down. That's pretty interesting because Jerry DiPoto just told MLB.com's Daniel Kramer the original plan was to activate Victor Robles next week.
So they'll expand the roster September 1st. So you won't technically be a man down at that point. But yeah, and he's going to appeal it. I would imagine he might get a couple games taken off of it, but it's a bad look, man. He's contrite. You know, the contrition was there. He apologized. I don't know how much of a break they're going to give him because you throw a bat. It's not like he ran up and threw a punch. I think that they'd have a little more grace for that. When you're throwing a bat, it's just, as much as I understood his anger, it's bad. It's bad.
Is there a precedent for this? Have we seen this before?
I've never seen anybody throw a bat. I think like way back in the day, who was it? Was it Juan Marichal or is somebody?
I remember Bryce Harper rushed the mound and threw his helmet.
Right.
And I think that was a good move because he was trying to like distract the pitcher from, and he missed him by a mile. But somebody throwing a bat?
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Man. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do because, like we talked about, we were speculating yesterday that all 10 of them are going to be at the big league level.
Our Mariners insider Shannon Drea reports that Dom Canzone told her his wrist still feels stiff after he was hit by the pitch last night. So you have Dylan Moore starting in right field tonight against the lefty Christopher Sanchez.
All right, Dylan.
We got Dylan and Garver in the lineup tonight. It's very popular.
Dylan and Garver in the lineup, and Bryce Miller making his first start off the IL.
Yeah.
Oh. So that means they're going to win. You look at it, you get kind of a knot going, I don't feel good about this, and then they're going to surprise us and win. So we're going to be in here tomorrow going, can you believe they pulled that game? What a game they had, right? That's the conversation we'll have.
Just like the Philly game, the Baltimore game that we were talking about. We did the show from the booth, and it was all doom and gloom. And then, of course, Donnie Barrels came through, and we were like, yeah, we knew it. We knew that was going to happen.
All right, well, we'll see. The pregame shows coming up. By the way, Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife, swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. All right, there you go. You got it. Dylan Moore in the lineup, Garver in the lineup, Bryce Miller making his return. We'll see what happens. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here with Wyman and Bob.
Blue 88! I said Blue 88! Every morning at 7:45, Brock Heward tackles 3 football questions as only he can.
Is this the offensive line group? Is that the group that should now start?
It's got to be.
It's Sundell at center.
Yeah. Yep. Hayes in the barn. This is our group. Let them play together. Let them grow together. And I kind of like the way it all mixes and matches from strengths, experience, and again, comfort level with that center.
Catch every Blue 88 on the Seattle Sports app.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. The hotel is open and you can book now at snocasino.com. The destination spa, the expanded non-smoking gaming floor, the big 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yeah, the new restaurants, food venues as well. Effortless style and the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com to book. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
We at Three Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. Three Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Summer is here and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for RLE. That's Refractive Lens Exchange. Now, Dr. Kopstein started K2 Vision with Dr. King from King LASIK, the most experienced LASIK surgeon in the Northwest. King LASIK plus K2 Vision equals freedom vision for every stage of life. No glasses, no contacts, readers, or cataracts. Now, if you're somebody that struggles with distance vision and now you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top: you never develop a cataract. Now, if you're somebody like me that had a pair of readers in every room of the home, in your car, you had to bring them into the restaurant with you. Otherwise, like me, you couldn't read the menu. That has all been rectified thanks to RLE. So whether it's LASIK, EVO ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors to recommend what's best for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle